Welcome everyone to 12 News at 10. We have been tracking monsoon activity across the valley for over the past hour as storms from the east started to move into the Phoenix metro area.
And they moved in with a bang. Strong winds, rainfall, ground stop at Sky Harbor. You name it. A lot of effects from this storm. Let's take a look outside on an ADOT camera right now. We're going to start south of the valley. This is the 347, the main roadway that goes down into the town of Maricopa and Casablanca Road. And we saw some pretty thick dust down here earlier, and that dust appears like it's still in the air.
Yeah, we did have a dust storm advisory there. We're going to get to Lindsay coming up in just a moment with more on that. We do have team coverage tonight. Lindsay is tracking the radar for us, and Gabby and Sean are live in our weather trackers. We want to start first with Sean Rice, who is near Sky Harbor Airport.
Now, Sean, I understand there's a bit of a delay with your signal out there, but something happened tonight, if the reports are correct, that I've never heard of before, that a plane had to make a landing at Luke Air Force Base instead of Sky Harbor.
Right. Yeah, something we do not see a lot is a plane landing, a commercial plane that is, landing at Luke Air Force Base, but we saw it tonight. I first want to set the scene of what it's like here at Sky Harbor Airport. Conditions have been very similar for the last 2 hours. Wind really hitting me in the face right now. It's very gusty here. We're on top of Terminal 3 parking garage. What we've seen is a ground stop that was in place and has been in place since about 8:30. And according to the National Weather Service, they had a wind gust here at the airport just before 8:50 that was 68 miles an hour. So it was extremely gusty and has been here for the last hour and a half. Now, for those who may be unfamiliar with a ground stop, it has less to do with flights taking off and flights that are in the area and immediately have to land. It has a lot to do with flights that are still on the ground at other airports and are headed with their final destination being Sky Harbor Airport. They institute a delay, so if you have a family member that maybe is coming to Sky Harbor Airport, they may see a delay if they're still on the ground where they're taking off. Now, back to that flight. It's American Airlines flight from Houston to Phoenix that had to land within the last 2 hours at Luke Air Force Base. Let's take you to some radio traffic between the pilot and those here at the air traffic controller at Sky Harbor Airport, the back and forth they had. Take a listen.
Say the fuel you have remaining and the number of people on board.
Okay, we have 160 people on board, fuel remaining 6.4, and they're telling me that I cannot land at Goodyear, not capable for our aircraft. So, where else would you suggest going, sir?
We have, like, over on the west side, there's not a whole lot more, because Glendale Airport is smaller, 7,150, 100-foot wide. You have Luke Air Force Base, but that's an Air Force base. If you're an emergency, you're an emergency, but they have a 10,000-foot, 150-foot wide runway at Luke Air Force Base.
Okay, let's do Luke Air Force Base, and we're going to need to, or is Scottsdale okay?
Scottsdale currently, let's see, 080 at 17, gust 29 at Scottsdale. They're 8,249 feet. They're smaller than Goodyear's runway.
Okay, let's go to the Air Force Base, if you could give us vectors for that.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, so it appears they may have had some fuel-related issues, or maybe there was a combination of fuel combining that with some of the wind gust that's really coming through here. My apologies, that was a United Airlines flight, not an American Airlines flight. Just in the last 3 minutes, right at the top of our 10 o'clock hour, the ground stop ended here at Sky Harbor, so flights wherever they may be in the air will be, or maybe where they are at other airports, will now be taking off if their final destination is right here at Sky Harbor International Airport. We'll send it back to you guys.
That was remarkable.
It really was.
160 people on that flight, and you could hear it in the pilot's voice. Usually they're so calm. He seemed a little rattled.
Yeah.
He did a nice job.
Yeah, he was like, give me the next option.
Yeah, if it's an emergency, and he's like, okay, I'm going for it. I'm going for Luke. So that is...
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, Sean.
That's pretty remarkable. I wonder if the passengers knew at that time, what the situation was.
Why are there F-35s all around me? This is strange.
Right.
Yeah, who knew?
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll learn more about what happened with that. But yeah, that was really interesting sound there, Sean. Thank you so much.
Great reporting.
Yep. All right, now we're going to head out to Gabby. She is inside one of our storm trackers. Gabby, you've been out in the storms all evening long. Where are you now and what are you seeing?
Well, Kribe, we actually made our way out to Mesa because we were hearing some reports of some power outages. We're along Mesa Drive and 6th Street, and we actually did find some crew to be working on one of the lines right here at Mesa Drive. So they've got some police cars blocking this area so drivers don't get in the way. I'm going to have a Nolan drive around so you guys can see. We saw the crew there shining a light at one of the there on the lift, so it looks like they're looking at that. Doesn't appear to see any lines down from what we can see on the ground, so that's good. But you can see just how dark it is, kind of just this block right here. So unsure if entire area that may have lost power, but if we turn right here, I noticed that it's just completely in the dark, this block. So again, it's nighttime, but you know, normally you would see a few lights on here or there. We don't see any street lights on, so block may be out of power for the night. But earlier today, we were seeing, you know, some really strong wind conditions out in this area. The rain was coming down kind of moderately. Right now, we're getting just a little bit of a sprinkle. Was, you know, coming down between light and moderate depending on which part of the valley we were in, and it seemed like it was kind of moving through pretty quickly, but it was those winds that were really strong. We were seeing the trees blowing around, dust was picking up, and anything that was on the ground or loose really was kind of blowing in the wind in the different parts of the valley we were driving through. That kind of has slowed down a little bit. We could feel at some points while we were driving, those gusts of winds were really just kind of blowing the points. We could feel it within the vehicle, but that kind of has subsided as the night has gone on. But again, so just out here, those conditions have kind of lightened up. It's stopped raining super hard, kind of subsided. We can kind of see, I don't know, it's so dark out here, I don't know if you can make out, you can see all of these tree parts on the ground that have blown around. So right now we're just monitoring those power outages. We'll check in with APS, see exactly how many people are, you know, in the dark right now, but we have seen crews out just like here in Mesa who are getting to work trying to get the lights back on for people who may have been affected by this storm. So we'll check back in with you guys if we
Yeah, in about 20, thank you so much, Gabby. About 20 or so minutes, the last check we had was 13,000 people without power. That is between APS and SRP combined. So a lot of folks right now in the dark.
Neighborhood to neighborhood, it seems like. So I know there was some outages as well in Central Phoenix. So we have them out in Mesa, we have them in Central Phoenix. So, you know, hopefully it's not your neighborhood and hopefully the power gets back on.
Scattered throughout. All right, let's head over now to meteorologist Lindsay Riley, who is tracking the radar for us.
So, Lindsay, I mean, I think the big story at this point is wind. And I mean, we definitely had some rain. But what caused these winds to be so much stronger than the monsoon storms we saw, you know, last week?
Well, the storms were a lot more robust this afternoon over the higher terrain. So when they die, they put out a stronger downdraft, and then hence you get that big gust front with the 68-mile-per-hour gust at Sky Harbor, 53 at Mesa Gateway. So a lot of us saw these very windy conditions on the leading edge. We had dust advisories across parts of Maricopa and Pinal counties. And of course, we did pick up some rain as well, but we don't have the threat for any severe thunderstorm warnings overnight. That is off the table. The number of lightning strikes is going down, and the wind is also going to begin to diminish. So the worst is behind us now in the valley. So here's a closer look. We have one remaining dust advisory west of downtown. This goes till 10:15. So things are improving from a dust perspective. In terms of rain, you can see a few showers out near Buckeye and the White Tanks. Those developed on an outflow boundary at about 9:30. They lasted for about 20 minutes, and now they're dying down. Further out to the west, you can see some pockets of heavier rain out around Avondale. And then Maricopa did have a nice looking thunderstorm, which is also dying down. Still some light rain in the vicinity of Apache Junction and Gilbert, moving down toward Queen Creek. And we have some nice hefty storms lining I-10. These are moving away from the valley, so away from Eloy and down toward Tucson. Up in the high country, still have some showers around Flagstaff and the Navajo Nation. It's still coming down. Now tomorrow, another active day. We could have additional flooding in northern and eastern Arizona. We'll have more on that flood watch and extreme heat moving into the valley from Thursday to Monday. We'll have complete details in just a few minutes.
All right, looking forward to that, Lindsay. Thank you. Developing tonight, expecting mothers in Casa Grande will soon have a longer drive to the delivery room.
A shortage of doctors is actually forcing a pause of baby deliveries at Banner Casa Grande. 12 News journalist Maria Stobbs now joining us from Casa Grande. Maria.
For years, Sun Life Health has been the only provider group delivering babies here at Banner Casa Grande Medical Center, delivering about 800 babies every year. But starting August 1st, those deliveries will move to Chandler.
All of us pregnant women are at risk.
Ana Rosa Becerra is 25 weeks pregnant. She's delivered her last 3 babies here, and she never thought her 4th would be different.
Me siento triste. I feel sad. I feel worried. I feel scared.
At 44, her pregnancy is already high risk. Now, the drive to Chandler is adding to her concerns.
Sometimes it can be 2 hours, there can be an accident, so many things, and that's what's worrying.
The change comes as Sun Life Health prepares to pause delivery services here on August 1st, sending expecting mothers to Banner Ocotillo Medical Center in Chandler instead.
This by far was probably the most difficult decision I've ever had to make.
Sun Life Health Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jonathan Willems says they've lost physicians faster than they've been able to hire new ones, and recruiting doctors to rural communities like Casa Grande has become increasingly difficult.
So we've gone from having about 5 doctors deliver here down to about 2. We knew the weight of this decision, but with as short as we are with physicians, we couldn't safely maintain services.
In a statement, Banner Health told 12 News, quote, "Our care teams are proactively coordinating with patients to ensure everyone has a clear, safe delivery plan and continuity of care." Sun Life Health says it will continue providing prenatal care in Casa Grande and offer transportation assistance for patients who need help getting to Chandler.
I have to start preparing if there's no other option.
Sun Life Health calls this a temporary pause, saying their goal is to restart delivery services here in Casa Grande once they can recruit enough OBGYN physicians. In Casa Grande, Maria Stobbs, 12 News.
Maria, thank you. Turning now to Tucson, 9 people recovering after they were shot in downtown Tucson early yesterday morning. Police say officers heard gunfire near Congress Street and 6th Avenue, which is a popular spot with bars and restaurants. They found a suspect running from the scene. An officer then shot the suspect, identified as David Leroy French. Police say he ignored multiple commands. Pima County Attorney's Office says Leroy had previously pled guilty to aggravated assault and was on probation.
Today, the Gilbert community honored retired fire captain Dave Tavares, who passed away earlier this month after a long fight against cancer. He was remembered with full honors and was known as one of the hardest working members of the department. He retired as captain in 2023 after serving 19 years with Gilbert Fire.
Tomorrow, Arizona voters will head to the polls. It's the 2026 primary election. There are some key statewide races: governor's race, attorney general, Secretary of State, and also Congressional District 1 is one of those key toss-up districts, only 18 in the whole country. If you live in Maricopa County and haven't sent back your early ballot, you cannot mail it in now. It will not be counted. But a new initiative allows you to drop off your ballot and watch it be counted right there in front of you. You can take it to any county voting location, and these are early ballots we're talking about. The Deputy Elections Director for the county expects a very smooth process for the primary tomorrow.
We have really, some of the finest people in the country running our elections, and so people can be confident. In fact, we would encourage them to go to maricopa.vote, learn a little bit about what we do and how we do it, because if you have that knowledge, hopefully that will give people a little bit more confidence when they head to the polls.
You can find your closest voting location at elections.maricopa.gov.
And tomorrow night we'll have live election coverage starting at 7 p.m. with first results expected at 8 o'clock. Just download the 12 News app for free and you can watch on TV.